Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Jai Hind, Historical Events of 23rd June, A Journey Through Time of 23rd June 2025, Monday. Today's 23rd June highlight in history. 1611. The mutinous crew of Henry Hudson's fourth voyage sets Henry, his son, and seven loyal crew members adrift in an open boat in what is now Hudson Bay. They are never heard from again. 1683. William Penn signs a friendship treaty with Lenape Indians in Pennsylvania. 1713. The French residents of Acadia are given 1 year to declare allegiance to Britain or leave Nova Scotia, Canada. 1757. Battle of Plassey. 3,000 British troops under Robert Clive defeat a 50,000 strong Indian army under Siraj ud Dowlah at Plassey. 1758. 7 Years' War, Battle of Crefeld. British, Hanoverian, and Prussian forces defeat French troops at Crefeld in Germany. 1760. 7 Years' War, Battle of Landshut. Austria defeats Prussia. 1780. American Revolution, Battle of Springfield, fought in and around Springfield, New Jersey, including Short Hills, formerly of Springfield, now of Milburn Township. 1794. Empress Catherine II of Russia grants Jews permission to settle in Kyiv. 1810. John Jacob Astor forms the Pacific Fur Company. 1812. War of 1812. Great Britain revokes the restrictions on American commerce, thus eliminating one of the chief reasons for going to war. 1860. The United States Congress establishes the Government Printing Office. 1865. American Civil War. At Fort Towson in the Oklahoma Territory, Confederate Brigadier General Stan Whitey surrenders the last significant Confederate army. 1868. Christopher Latham Scholes received a patent for an invention he called the typewriter. 1887. The Rocky Mountains Park Act becomes law in Canada, creating the nation's first national park, Banff National Park. 1894. The International Olympic Committee is founded at the Sorbonne in Paris at the initiative of Baron Pierre de Coubertin. 1913. Second Balkan War. The Greeks defeat the Bulgarians in the Battle of Doiran. 1914. Mexican Revolution. Pancho Villa takes Zacatecas from Victoriano Huerta. 1917. In a game against the Washington Senators, Boston Red Sox pitcher Ernie Shore retires 26 batters in a row after replacing Babe Ruth, who had been ejected for punching the umpire. 1919. Estonian War of Independence. The decisive defeat of the Baltstri's Landish War in the Battle of Cesis. This date is celebrated as Victory Day in Estonia. 1926. The College Board administers the first SAT exam. 1931. Willie Post and Harold Gatty take off from Roosevelt Field, Long Island in an attempt to circumnavigate the world in a single engine plane. 1938. The Civil Aeronautics Act is signed into law, forming the Civil Aeronautics Authority in the United States. 1940. Adolf Hitler goes on a 3 hour tour of the architecture of Paris with architect Albert Speer and sculptor Arno Breker in his only visit to the city. 1940, Henry Larsen begins the first successful west to east navigation of Northwest Passage from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. 1941, the Lithuanian Activist Front declares independence from the Soviet Union and forms the Provisional Government of Lithuania. It lasts only briefly as the Nazis will occupy Lithuania a few weeks later. 1942, World War II, Germany's latest fighter aircraft in Focke-Wulf FW-190 is captured intact when it mistakenly lands at RAF Pembrey in Wales. 1946, the 1946 Vancouver Island earthquake strikes Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. 1947, the United States Senate follows the United States House of Representatives in overriding U.S. President Harry S. Truman's veto of the Taft-Hartley Act. 1951, the ocean liner SS United States is christened and launched. 1956, the French National Assembly takes the first step in creating the French community by passing the Loi Cadre, transferring a number of powers from Paris to elected territorial governments in French West Africa. 1951, convicted Manhattan Project spy Klaus Fuchs is released after only 9 years in prison and allowed to emigrate to Dresden, East Germany, where he resumes a scientific career. 1960, the United States Food and Drug Administration declares Enovid to be the first officially approved combined oral contraceptive pill in the world. 1961, the Antarctic Treaty System, which sets aside Antarctica as a specific scientific reserve and limits military activity on the continent, its islands and ice shelves, comes into force. 1967, Cold War, US President Lyndon B. Johnson meets the Soviet Premier Alexei Kosygin in Glassboro, New Jersey for the 3-day Glassboro Summit Conference. 1969, Warren E. Burger is sworn in as Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court by retiring Chief Justice Earl Warren. 1969, IBM announces that effective January 1970 it will price its software and services separately from hardware, thus creating the modern software industry. 1972, Watergate scandal. US President Richard M. Nixon and White House Chief of Staff H.R. Haldeman are taped talking about illegally using the Central Intelligence Agency to obstruct the Federal Bureau of Investigation's investigation into the Watergate break-ins. 1972, Title 9 of the United States Civil Rights Act of 1964 is amended to prohibit sexual discrimination to any educational program receiving federal funds. 1973, a fire at a house in Hull, England, which kills a 6-year-old boy, is passed off as an accident. It later emerges as the first of 26 deaths by fire caused over the next 7 years by serial arsonist Peter Dinsdale. 1985, a terrorist bomb explodes at Narita International Airport near Tokyo, killing 2 and injuring 4. An hour later, the same group detonates a second bomb aboard Air India Flight 182, bringing the Boeing 747 down off the coast of Ireland, killing all 329 aboard. 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog is released in North America on the Sega Genesis platform, beginning the popular video game franchise. 1994, NASA's Space Station Processing Facility, a new state-of-the-art manufacturing building of the International Space Station, officially opens at the Kennedy Space Center. 2001, the 8.4 moment magnitude southern Peru earthquake shakes coastal Peru with a maximum Mercalli intensity of 8, which is severe. A destructive tsunami followed, leaving at least 74 people dead and 2,687 injured. 2012, Ashton Eaton breaks the decathlon world record at the United States Olympic Trials. 2013, Nick Wallenda becomes the first man to successfully walk across the Grand Canyon on a tightrope. 2013, militants storm a high altitude mountaineering base camp near Nanga Parbat in Gilgit Baltistan, Pakistan, killing 10 climbers and a local guide. 2014, the last of Syria's declared chemical weapons are shipped out for destruction. 2016, the United Kingdom votes in a referendum to leave the European Union by 52% to 48%. 2017, the series of terrorist attacks take place in Pakistan, resulting in 96 deaths and wounding 200 others. 2018, 12 boys and an assistant coach in a soccer team in Thailand are trapped in a flooding cave, leading to an 18-day rescue operation. Your daily dose of wisdom ends here, but the journey never stops. Thank you very much for your patience. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel.